all the televiewers, good evening to all Cameroonians. Special regards and greetings to all the people of Noni. My regards to all the fans of Noni. Thank you so much.
We also are in the company of Pady Asanga, co-militant of the Social Democratic Front, who lives in Hamburg. He is in Cameroon still playing prolongation after the convention of the Social Democratic Front. We are glad to have him with us in the studio. Good evening, Pady Asanga.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Kum Leonard, and good evening to all your televiewers and the entire My Media Prime family. And I also want to greet my honorable panelists, Dr. Ndimancho, Ndiwum, and the kangaroo man that I see coming, one of the vibrant Anglophones who have been animating your platform. So it's always a pleasure for me to be here, and we are on a mission to make sure that we get an Anglophone president who would be able to control, not just sit in his armchairs and see things happen on autopilot. It doesn't work like that in a country. Maybe in a plane, but not in a country. A plane is not a country. Thank you.
Good evening to you too, Ndiwum Emmanuel, who is a very vibrant member of Cameroon's civil society, who is also going to be part of tonight's panel. Good evening and welcome, Ndiwum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. It's a pleasure to be on this program once more, and a special good evening to my big brother Pady Asanga, Dr. Ndimancho, Michael, and the rest. Permit me to send this congratulatory message to Josh Weah for making us understand that not everything from the French African countries could be bad. Accepting defeat and congratulating Joseph Bukai, who comes from the civil society corps, is a thing that some sit-tight old squirrels in Africa need to learn, to understand that when your time is over, you have to give a pass to another person to make a new experience. It's an experience I wish that other African leaders, those who are still planning to keep violating the laws of their countries and the constitution to remain in power till death, should learn from this young man. It's a laudable initiative. Okay. I'm using my media pride because it's the African eye.
Okay, we also are in the company of Fah Elvis Tayong, who is the Deputy Communication Secretary for the Cameroon Renaissance Movement. They call him the Kangaroo Man. Good evening. We're glad to have you coming all the way from Buea, Southwest Regional Capital.
Thank you very much for accepting me. And you know, the roads is what has caused me to be late today. I say anything CPDM. I've not seen them on this platform. And the Funkist movement is here. That is an arm of the CPDM. They will hear from us this today. Because what I went through, navigating myself right from Buea to here, has been real hell. 41 years in power. No, something is wrong in this country. But then, as I said earlier, Mr. Kum, as I said, the Dio of Mbembe needs to apologize to the people of Meta. As I said, it has never been heard before that a Dio will ban a clan cultural activity. This is sacrilege on the soil of Mbembe and the Meta people. And as I said, we will not take it lightly under the pretext of security, whereas at the same time he is caught in the confusion of the issue between creation of a village, which Minister Tanganji Paul, that I know, he's a no-nonsense minister and will not take that lightly. Until then, greetings to all the people who are watching us right from Buea, and of course, those of the Golden Awards and the pool party who begin their show on Friday in the evening and also on Saturday, which they did, which you yourself, you've quite been former laureates of the Golden Awards, and hopefully that all of you be converging in Buea as from Friday at Las Vegas. And on Saturday at the Pretend Church Hall, I think Mr. Ndimancho will be there with his books, because the books will be on display in Buea. That we have to let people know that it's not just award, but coming to learn or read something new that is written at the level of culture and other like so. Mr. Kum, it's my pleasure being here today. Unfortunately, anybody from the CPDM, link directly or indirectly, today the roads will speak for themselves.
We are talking roads, we are not talking party now.
Party has equally caused the road, Mr. Kum. I would explain to you how what they have done.
Okay, now we are going to be looking at the situation, but let us first follow this report done by our colleague Ewane on the situation of our roads in Douala.
Hello, Mr. Leo. Hello, televiewers of my Media Prime TV. If you take a tour around the city of Douala, you will bear with me that, like other towns in Cameroon, Douala is not void of bad roads, especially at every strategic place in the heart of the city, like in Dokoti, Bonamusa, the Home Point, Edo, Besenge, Akwambopi, Karifuaji, to mention just a few. And you will also bear with me that the deplorable nature of these roads greatly alters accessibility of the people. It also retards economic development, causes traffic, and of course slow circulation of people, taxis, commercial bikes, and of course trucks and other mediums of circulation. Ladies and gentlemen, some of these stretches have resulted in mini lakes, potholes, tiny stretches which are quite tear-provoking and deplorable. You will bear with me that if you take a tour around some of these stretches of road in the city of Douala, you will lament. You will ask yourself, what is happening to the nature of our roads? Well, I'll be taking you around some major stretches that I find quite despicable, and of course you will bear with me that these roads need to be attended to. So we are right here at Lokbaba, not far from the Douala 3 Council. And as you can see for yourself, the state of road here is quite devastating. It's quite despicable. They will be hooking up with road users of these areas, taxi drivers, truck drivers, and of course vendors of basic commodities around this municipality, so that they get to tell us what exactly is happening, their experiences on this stretch of road, and of course what can be done to better ameliorate the state of this road.
In Douala, my dear, I nearly swim on the way. Holes everywhere, black water, nowhere to move, vehicles, bikes, there is no way. Truly speaking, I nearly cry. An old mommy like this on the bike, quick. Is it normal? Here in Douala, the same thing. Yaoundé, the same thing. In the villages, the same thing. What is wrong? What is wrong, Papa Cameroun? Avec, help us to arrange our roads.
Depuis, ils ont dit qu'ils vont mettre les pavés. Ils n'ont pas mis les pavés. Comme tu vois là, quand il pleut, l'eau inonde, c'est comme si c'est sur le bateau qui doit seulement passer. Dernièrement, une femme est tombée ici là avec l'enfant. Le bébé amène, parce qu'il est passé dans le trou, le bain skinner. C'est moi-même qui étais là, je suis venu sauver l'enfant là, dans l'eau. La femme était dans l'eau. Quand vous voyez là comme ça, là, la route là est placée là, il faut vraiment qu'ils puissent mettre des pavés, comme ils ont dit qu'ils mettent des pavés. Là, c'est normal. Mais quand il pleut, je te dis que les gens ont la peine même de marcher en pleine route. Les gens ont la peine de marcher en pleine route. Et ce n'est pas bon.
Là où je suis là, mon cœur peut même s'arrêter. Les rimes vont passer, ne pas pleurer. L'état de la route est tellement mauvaise que je ne sais même pas. En voulant esquiver la nuit des poules là, j'ai eu crevaison. Là où je suis, je ne sais pas comment faire. Donc si l'État même pouvait nous aider, ou la communauté pour nous aider, pour qu'on puisse arranger la route, pour que d'autres personnes ne tombent pas dans le même choc que moi. Quand la route était encore bien là, tu peux même faire même 2-3 mois avant de partir au garage. Mais tous les jours on est au garage. Tous les jours on est au garage. Donc c'est vraiment déplorable. Tous les jours on est au garage. Voilà la crevaison que je viens d'avoir. Avant-hier, c'était la roue arrière. Maintenant c'est la roue avant. Donc là où je suis perdu.
I've been here about 5 years. The road is really bad. Because I, for once, I've never been a victim of accident, but I've been witnessing it. At time I saw bike joining with other here, and many fell down and their legs from their hands. So it's really bad.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are at Bay Panda in the Douala 5 subdivision of the Littoral region. And as you can see for yourself, this portion of the road now is a swimming pool with one safe in it. And the road forecasts the circulation of people, commercial bikes, cars, taxis, trucks, and other mediums of transportation. You'll bear with me that during rush hours, bikes queue here just to make sure that we get a safe passage to the other side of the road. We've seen with our 2 eyes how deplorable the state of roads are here in the economic city of Cameroon. Yes, they need rehabilitation, serious rehabilitation. People are asking, what is the government doing? What are our councils doing with our taxpayers' money? Well, we hope that the government is listening. Reporting for my Media Prime TV, we are Ndiwum Emmanuel and Romanus Chair.
Thank you very much, Naivona, for that stand-up painting the picture of how our roads look like in the nation's economic capital, Douala. So many areas were not visited, but I'm sure that is an apt reflection of what our roads look like out here. Dr. Ndimancho, you live in Douala, and your appraisal of the state of our roads.
It is simply deplorable, Mr. Leo, to say the least. We are living in hell, and I'm asked myself whether in Douala, where people have the time limit to reach their workplaces, their job sites, whether they still maintain the time, usually the starting time of 7:30, because I realized from the experience I've had in Douala this past months and years, past 2 years particularly, that it's better to trek than even to take a cab. It's better to trek than to drive your own car. It is a terrible thing. We usually say that where a road passes, development follows. But we are having a case in Cameroon whereby they are the roads that are closing up. Meaning that what? The translation is that development is stagnating. Cameroon is living a kind of a situation whereby we are on a sick bay. Everything is sick, and they are looking for ways, for remedies to remedy it, and it appears it's getting too late. Of course, one of the roads cannot be hidden. People are swindling money because it appears as if Cameroon is ungovernable. Nobody is asking a question. Let me let you know that there's what we call the National Road Board. And this National Road Board has as chairman the Prime Minister. I remember their meeting that they held on the 17th of March 2022 last year. And the Prime Minister was hammering. Because when we talk about roads and infrastructure in Cameroon, it is not just the Ministry of Public Works. We have actors that have to join forces as far as construction and road maintenance is concerned. We have the Ministry of Public Works. We have the Ministry of Town Planning and Regional Development. We have the Ministry of Economy and Planning. Now we have what we call the Ministry of Decentralization. And I remember that during that meeting with the Prime Minister on the 17th of March 2022, Minister Obam he made an expose. And from his expose, you understand that there is some confusion about construction, especially when it comes to urban roads, such as the construction or maintenance of certain roads. But it appears as though these powers have not been given to the council, or the budget has not been allocated in the likes of decentralization. So we are seeing that a lot of things are going wrong, because even what we call regionalism is now, we understand from the root issues in towns that this is only a cliche, it's a sing-song, that nothing is moving forward as far as regionalism is concerned. So the issue of decentralization is all about a sham. So I think that in Cameroon, we are sick and we cannot more hide this sickness. But what is happening now is that they are trying to get antidote to some of these illnesses we have, and we cannot have it. Because when you even look, sometimes when we talk about particular spots of route, like in Douala or Yaoundé, that this place is bad. What happens is they go carry mud, fear the place, just to cover up that scar, that wound that is bleeding. And before long, you find that the thing is open again. Now, the question we are asking is there no follow-up in this road maintenance? Because there is a construction, people go through hell because routes are blocked for construction. I want to take example of Nyala Road in Douala, where 2 years ago, that road, people went through on total suffering because that road was blocked for months because there was construction going on there. But less than 2 years, that road went back to its worst kind of state. And now you ask yourself, with the heavy machines that we see on the roads, is it a deliberate attempt to do it that way so that they are called back to be given the contract? Because we begin to interpret it that way, that people premeditatedly construct the roads the way they are, so that they get back very soon, and then they are called back. Since contracts in Cameroon is given grade, contracts in Cameroon is given to relations, is given to friends, and since there is no follow-up to these works that are being done, so people are people even manage and do what they are doing. It's just like the other time we were talking about constructions, and you find that people use lesser material to construct because they want to amass the construction money. This is the very thing that's happening with roads in Cameroon.
Pady Asanga, you were in Yaoundé also, and now in Douala. What could explain what we are living today? Is it the fact that the new guys who have been given charge of Douala and Yaoundé actually have not mastered the art of managing these cities? Because comparatively to the former guys who were there, things are worse today.
Listen, Mr. Liu, the whole scenario of road infrastructures in Cameroon as a whole, talk less of Yaoundé and Douala, which are, one is the economic capital and one is the political capital of Cameroon. It's very, very deplorable and symptomatic of the system that we have in place. Now, when you put people in charge, you have to understand that there are immediate problems which need immediate solutions. There are medium problems that need medium solutions, and there are long-term problems that need long-term solutions. You see, Dr. Ndimancho just spoke about decentralization. Decentralization and its accreditations and the powers that have been accredited to the decentralized communities, as they say, it's practically empty. And these people are caught in a web where they might have the will, but where are the means? I am talking about Mbanga also. It's a commune that is run by the SDF. And our hands are tied because the super mayor is not willing to release the budget for us to realize the projects that we have in those communities.
Yes, so, but we have the super mayor, the city mayor in Douala, have a city mayor in Yaoundé. They have of the CPDM party, but the roads are not being done.
Yeah, but they don't have an interest.
Yeah, but before now we had a government delegate in Douala, a government delegate in Yaoundé, who comparatively...
Is the super mayor independent? Was the government delegate independent? Where does he get his budgets from? Where they say they have accredited 15%, and the only problem, there are also immediate problems, which is not some people's priority are not even roads. Some people have different priorities. Others have waters and so on and so forth. Every locality has a particular priority that is proponent to this locality. So you cannot tell me that the city mayors they would come and do what the how do you call the government delegates could not do. You are just asking somebody to come and do what Napoleon left undone, because their hands are tied.
You have been coming to Cameroon.
Yes.
Are the roads better today?
There was.
So
Mr. Kum,
the question I'm putting to you is, why were the government delegates delivering more than the elected?
No, I don't think that the government delegates were delivering more than.
Yeah, but you don't say the roads were better.
No, what I'm saying is this, and let's focus on that. You see, the government delegates had their hands tied because they were appointed by the system. Now they say that the mayors have been elected, and who gives them now, who transfer competence to the city mayors? It's the same person who appointed the government delegates. So we are moving in a vicious circle where you have people, you put them there in place just to wash what they call whitewash, and that is exactly what Dr. Ndimancho is talking about.
These guys have very huge budgets, yeah?
Who has never had huge budgets in Cameroon?
Budget. No. Take the case for Douala and Yaoundé. You have the city mayor who has a huge budget.
Yeah.
You have Douala 1, Douala 2, Douala 3, Douala 4, Douala 5. These are all municipalities with also fat budgets. In Yaoundé, the same.
Of course.
So what are they doing with
Of course, they are supposed to have those budgets because they have a demography to manage. Okay, how does the system works? How does some of these budgets are virtual and some of these budgets have been programmed in such a way that people might find themselves in prison. That's it. And that's why we have ministers and people with high-profile government officials everywhere. So this thing can only be resolved from leaving this hyper-centralized Jacobean system to a federal system. And why not an Anglophone president who would go on the field and do what Ahidjo did? I traveled to Noon, to the Noon division the other day. I saw very flashy toll gate, but after the toll gate, you still had these potholes everywhere, and we started moving at the speed of the tortoise before we got where we want to get to. And when you go to Ngaoundé is a place I've also been. Garwa, I've also been in Garwa. The roads that were built by Ahidjo in that time, leaving Ngaoundé from Ngaoundé right to Boya, right to Garwa, and part of heading to Marwa, they are in better conditions than what we see, which have those been done in 10 years, and today it's calamitous. So we should speak the truth. This country is on autopilot, and you need somebody who would go on the field and supervise those projects. Okay. Some of these projects just exist on paper, and that's what Dr. Ndimancho was saying that budgets have been allocated. These projects are on paper, they are existing, and you see, and like I was talking with my friend Fah Elvis the other day. How can you take cement and concrete to go and patch a national road? It will not last. Okay, that is not how it works. And we have in Limbe a refinery and tar that we use to produce roads or to build roads. It's a natural product of petrol that is refined in our country. So the problem is somewhere, and not with those local officials who are just there on their armchairs. Thank you, Mr. Liu.
Ndiwum, are you saying that our mayors are helpless? What then are they doing with their budgets?
Mr. Liu, for 41 years, counting, someone somewhere has been sitting on the neck of Cameroonians for too long. And I want to think that if we were even George Floyd, it is time to cry out loud. And our roads tonight are helping us. They are giving us a voice to cry. I don't even want to talk about mayors because they are just figureheads. They are just fulfilling an organigram at the level of the administrative setup in Cameroon. They have no means. However, let's also be very much aware that there is another new corruption trend and embezzlement in Cameroon in a disguise of decentralization, where we have to turn our attention towards the mayors and should not only focus on the ministers in Yaoundé, because the mayors are embezzling now more than the ministers in Yaoundé. I know what I'm saying. And one day I shall be forced to start blowing by names. Now, when you look at the situation of Cameroon, Ebola came and passed. It did not kill the number of people the root situation in Cameroon has killed. COVID-19 came. I mean that every pandemic that has visited Cameroon has not killed the number of people that the roots in Cameroon, especially national roots, have killed in Cameroon.
Apart from Amber.
No, please don't digress me. I am saying that all these pandemics have been so merciful to Cameroonians that the roots, the death traps that we are using in the name of roots. And what is very pathetic about it is that one will be tempted to think that if you go to Yaoundé, you will see a good road around Etudi. No, it is already around the entrance to Etudi. That is arranged. Just come to think of it, I was in Bepanda Omnisport yesterday, in front of a stadium that was supposed to host 2019 AFCON matches. Mr. Leo, I don't know whether you are complaining like you have even passed there of recent. If bikes are unable to pass in front of that stadium, it means that we are finished. And if we go blaming the mayors, the city mayors, let me give you an example of a road. I've been in Douala for 9 years. I came to Douala from 2013 till date. The Bonabo road was handed to Génie Militaire. That route has been like that under construction till date. Until at one point, it was alarmed or rumored that some heads were going to roll. They quickly came with machines, mixed some cement, sand, concrete, when I did it. In less than a month, the route today is a nightmare. You look at the case of 14 Bodepupa, where 3 weeks ago we lost vibrant teachers that have just been transferred to impart knowledge to children, simply because the route was too bad, to a point where the driver of the truck that was coming behind could not leverage his car. What am I saying here? Patients in Cameroon have died because there was no way for them to get to the hospital because the route was not in the state.
Someone just delivered, and the videos has gone viral. A woman delivered on the way because
yes, that is just one woman out of many of them. It has been happening like that every day. But my problem is, where has those that Cameroonians have given them the mandate to manage them, put their consciences? It boils back to what Abakwa Boy was saying a while ago. I think the best form of leadership in this modern world is no longer a bureaucratic leadership. We have to go outside and supervise. When I sit sometimes and I hear that at one point, Ahijo visited Banso even without guards, commune with the chief of this area, it gives you an idea why at his time people were afraid to embezzle. Today, 41 years counting, our president is missing. I don't want to blame the mayors or the city council because they are figureheads. What is happening? Are we also going to blame the mayors and the city councils for the ring road that the president promised before my mother gave birth to me? Until date, the foundation stone has never been there.
You asked him not to take you away from the discussion. We are looking at roads in Douala and Yaoundé.
No, the situation in Douala is just a sample survey of what runs across the board in Cameroon. So we cannot limit it just to Douala and Yaoundé. But the case of Douala and Yaoundé is very alarming.
Yeah, but mayors are voted to do these roads because we do not expect. We have roads that are supposed to be fixed by the municipal councils
and the national roads.
Mr. Leo, mayors are not philanthropic organizations that will come and start putting roads.
Yes. We have municipal roads. We have the responsibilities of the city mayors.
Yes.
That is, you are taking up a city to run because on the manifesto that I am coming to do this or that. You want to become the mayor for Douala 5 Council because you know the responsibilities and the task as ahead.
Yes.
Now, when you become either the city mayor and the mayor, and today we say they are figureheads, what therefore were they being voted for?
They were voted for the sense of all the things that you have enumerated.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the problem of Cameroon is systemic. It seems to be more spiritual because even all what has been presented to us in the event of election, can you comfortably tell me one area where realization has met the aspiration of the people?
Yeah.
No. So I am still saying that, like my co-panelists already highlighted a while ago, some of these people are handpicked by their party and put there, and they have to render account to somebody somewhere. I know somebody will ask me this platform that, has Mr. Abia ever asked a mayor not to fix roads? But we are saying that it is systemic.
Yeah, but I want us to go back to we know the government delegate of Yaoundé, Timi Mvuna, and then we know who was in Douala.
Tonet.
Yeah. These are guys who were of CPDM.
Yeah.
Look at what they did for Yaoundé and Douala compared to what is happening today. What is not happening? What is not right?
Well, Mr. Leo, I wouldn't like to really take that comparison because if you go inside quarters in Douala today, you'll also discover that most quarters have been put what we call pave or whatsoever. If you also want to compare the role of Fritz Tonne, you will discover that Ramos have it that he is one of the highest person who has ever embezzled in Littoral. And workers honor him. We all saw it, how workers went for years, close to 5 years, without being paid. In the domain of vote, Douala is being expanded every day, Mr. Leo. We should be able to say it. Because at the time of Tonne, if I take the case of my area where I live, we have at least 5 new routes created that links quarters and main routes now.
So you are saying that focus now is the inroads and the major routes, like what you talked about, 14 and the rest, which are used by the majority of the people, should have been abandoned in favor of those inroads in the quarters.
That's why I don't want to make comparison, because among between the two of them, none of them is better.
Okay. No. Fah Elvis Tayong. Now, the maintenance culture in Cameroon, because when you construct a road, you should also be projecting on the possibility of this road to get bad, and for you to make also the demands that are coming to accommodate the inroads like he just mentioned. But when we look across the board, we discover that the budget heads also are increasing because new opportunities are coming. And you would not tell me that the budget for the Douala 5 Council today is same like what obtained 10 years ago. The budgets are also increasing.
Yes, I listened to the other panelists speaking Kindi, and it was semblance of the fact that we should portion blames out of those who have been mandated to take care of the roads. Sincerely, there is no way we can spare a mayor, a city mayor, or a regional council on Bano. They should hear me very well. You people have decided to take advantage of the lackadaisical system of operations in Yaoundé to also swim into the kangaroo manner, to swindle budget, fold your arms, enter your big prados, get into the potholes, and go as if you are not seeing. These two persons are guilty. Yaoundé regime is guilty for not doing a follow-up for his errand boys in the name of municipal mayors, city mayors, or whatever. That one is that one. Because to explain to Cameroonians, the other day I took an example of Munya Road, Jongo village, that a repair was done using spade, wheelbarrow, shovel, concrete, sand, and the normal cement that is used in building a house to arrange that part of road there around Mount Cameroon Football Academy. You know what I'm talking about? And I asked myself, have we really been bewitched? For sure, I think so. There was a time that we had at the time of government delegates. By that time, I think we had Mr. Vincent Dumu. He's my very good friend watching right now in Yaoundé. And then I went to Meta Quarters and saw a similar exercise of stone, shovel, gravel, wheelbarrow, sand, and cement arranging the Meta Quarter road at that time. And I asked myself, are we really serious in this country? The truth in it is that we should let people take their responsibilities, bear their responsibilities in terms of good governance as well as in terms of bad governance. You cannot tell me that there is no mechanism to check on the operations of the city mayors and the subdivisional council mayors. How possible it is it that mayors will sit, the roads are there, there is what we call public hearing, town hall hearing, like what I see the mayor of Boya initiating, even though it's just still grammar and nothing is coming out of it, but at least he tried. Because sometimes when people do something good, we should appreciate. There was a town hall hearing where the mayor of Boya went there. I think the mayor of Limbe, one council, well, the Astani mayor has done that. I mean, town hearing where she was giving a 3 years stewardship to the people. That is how council should operate. I don't know where the other mayors are, what are they doing. That a woman decides to work like a man and will hold town hall hearing where she tells you the project she has been able to do, what she's still to do, and the problem she has to the population. We call that political accountability. Political science is clear on that. But we have some mayors who are passerbys. As I said, the one in Boya was just a passing meeting because even what they explained there, I attended last year's public hearing in Boya Council. I attended the one this year, zero. But on Monday, some of these mayors are quick in the English-speaking speaking area to go around stealing shops because they need money on Monday. When roads are calling for concern, mile 18 there in Boya, you both should hear me very well. The road is calling for concern. Boya has only the mayor arranging the roads or trying to see if they can call on the competent authorities to check. GCE Bunch also is there in front of GCE, but we have a natural GCE lake there, and the council watches. They will tell you it's not their copy, but the council has what it takes to call on on the public works to say, please, there's a problem in my municipality. And that particular stretch of road has killed about 4 accidents of occurred in Mr. Leo. The one which was really serious was that of a military Hilux that collided there. I think 2 persons died there on the spot. Do you say we have mayors? Some of them are sleeping mayors. This is the truth. And to tell you that we're talking about roads, Mr. Leo, council should take the responsibility. When you ask a mayor, no, this one or that is not my competence. It is the city mayor. It's the city mayor. You ask city mayor, no, this one is the town planning, town housing and urban development. They keep telling you run around when they know the text is clear on who is in charge of municipal roads, urban roads, and whatever the case might be. But the question now is that you only hear every day council session that budgets have been voted and they are skyrocketing. Let me tell these mayors, don't be voting those are fictitious budgets. We are no longer moved. Anyway, it's the same calculation because Parliament will tell you they want to increase budget this year. How do you increase a budget when the triggering effect is not felt by the common man? You keep skyrocketing budget when the roads are still calling for concern. That is coming of the high order. They should hear me very well. Because what I experienced from Boya to this place, they have potholes. These potholes were repaired during the period of Shan. That is the female African football competition. And what did they do? They only went there. Materials they use, even myself, who is not a civil engineer, cannot use that kind of material. And when they fill the potholes, 1 year after, the potholes have returned as if they have even increased in size. And to tell you where there is wickedness, these people need to give their life to Christ. They should hear me very well. Why your public works or your give your life to Christ?
So Christians are not wicked.
No, when I say give their life to Christ, they understand what I'm talking about. Because when you fear God, you will know that anything you do can hamper. Mr. Leo, around De Monte, that is last year, it's about 1 year, 4 months. One of the potholes that they opened in the name of filling, they left it. And there was a car accident where there was a university student, a graduate, who was going for interview in Douala. She died on the spot. They should hear me, they know the story. And that accident occurred around 5 p.m. Around 9 p.m., vehicles were dispatched to block that hole. That's when I knew these guys were devils incarnate. Then you open the hole that you could block. You abandon it for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And when an accident occurs and somebody dies, within few hours, they start filling the potholes. So at the end of it, who are we fooling? If Yaoundé is sleeping, it doesn't mean that the mayor should also sleep. Because you are accountable to the people who seemingly voted you, even if you played mafia to come on. Because most of them went there on mafia. They know what I'm talking about. But for the few who went on the basis of the population, you will see their works. Mr. Leo, find time and visit me one council. This was, I'm not talking grammar here.
Yeah, but I was going to ask what is happening when you look at the way Limbe is really tight, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, the council is doing.
That's why I said, Mr. Leo, the bottom line is that it is the will of the mayor. They should forget about Yaoundé because they have a running budget. If they are paying workers and they have a budget, some councils have 500 to 800 million. Now, in the urban setting like this, they run the budget that if you take Kumba City Council and Limbe City Council, it will never meet up. So they are running 14 billion, 18 billion, 20 billion, and they are looking at me. They are watching me as I'm talking like this. These guys are not serious. They should just look for a way and go, because any bag of rice you bring during election, we will take the bag of rice and wear on your head.
Dr. Michael and Ndimancho, are some persons not hiding under this cacophony of responsibility where a mayor would say, okay, I'll play along because the population is confused as to whether it is a city council that is supposed to do the roads, or whether it is the Ministry of Transport that is supposed to do the road, or another instance that's supposed to work on this route?
But they shouldn't play about, because they are not playing to the gallery. It is not to the citizens, that, of course, that they should play that to the gallery. But the issue is, even when they play, they know that the government knows who is supposed to fix the road. So how can they play? There is no way they can play. At the end of just now, the parliament is in session. Very soon you hear about the public investment budget, the DIP. And we expect that from this public investment budget, it should be shared to the councils. And that much chunk of this budget goes for construction of roads and infrastructure. That one is a clear fact. Even if the councils vote their budget and some will play under the sham that they don't have any income generating assets in their councils that yield money, because sometimes they hide under that to say there are some councils which are richer than others. In some councils you have timber, in some councils you have like the seaport, of course, like in Douala, where they are not even supposed to have some of these problems, because there are a lot of revenue there. I will not want to talk about Sonara, because even in the southwest, they suffer fuel crisis more than those who don't have.
Okay, take example of this one. Say, greetings, Mr. Liu and Leonard Panelists. In Garwa, you can drive for more than 20 kilometers in town without a pothole. I think it's all about the determination of the city mayors. Some prefer construction of shops and other structures than roads.
Exactly that. When you come to Douala, especially in Douala 5, Bonomusadi, you see what is happening in Bonomusadi. There is no what we call green space any longer, because every place has been closed up with the construction of shops. And you know that most of these people, since they are prone to actually reaping from from the revenue, stealing, corruption, and all of those things, they have to only build assets, things that will yield them money where they can be able to steal from. Because when you don't ask yourself, how is it that we don't have roots in Bonamusari in Douala, but you find all around there have been a lot of construction. They have blocked every breathing space where we were supposed to, like place for leisure and all of those. So you now see that there are priorities that are misplaced. Some are for the politics of the stomach. Some are for the economy of their own stomach. That is what is happening. That there is this priority where some mayors put more accent on where money can come from, so that they should be able to reap from. They don't put accent on what will benefit the community. Look at still in Bonomusadi, where we are, where the TV is situated, where we have what we call the Voiries and all of those places, where you have the canalization of water is not done. You find a lot of disorder in terms of actually building the council to make it an emergent, because in the other file they talk about the major how do you call it, la commune and devenir, means that the future council. And you ask yourself, what is it about the future council here? Because when we talk about development, I started by saying this. When we talk about development, first of all, we have to talk about road networks. Because economic operators should be able to go round and round without any problem in the road network. People should be able to go to their businesses without any problem on the road network. Taxi drivers should be able to ply the road without any problem. And you say that is the council of the future, when people take perhaps 2 hours to go 1 kilometer. This is not reasonable. And then the priority for them is just to put income generating buildings or assets around the place so they can become road. I think that the route is first and foremost what we are supposed to regard. Because anybody who comes to a place, the first thing that hits him hard is the nature of the road. If I live here, I'm going to Goneko. One of the most important things that will impress me is the road network. Yeah. Because this is the first appreciation that anybody gives. That I travel. That's why usually people ask, did you have a safe travel? Because the first issue about safe travel is about the route. And we have seen how routes are killing people. And even on the Douala Yaoundé, highway, routes is like musicians have even sung a song, and he said, La route is cheaper. But I think that is a route that is killing. It is a route that is killing. Accidents every day. on the route and nobody cares. And when there is an accident, what happens? There is always a scapegoat. They go and ban or they suspend an agency. They do not ask questions to know who was supposed to do this. Because I think that in major routes like this, there is supposed to be a regular control. We have what we call the Director of Road Construction in the Ministry of Public Works, who is also supposed to be. We have the Ministry of Transport, or are they only interested in toll gates, automatic toll gates, where we have beautiful toll gates and we don't have routes? For billions that they have invested in them, and we do not have route. You are driving to Yaoundé and you reach at a certain point where you see a very beautiful thing and you want to ask yourself, what is this standing? This standing on the road. You discover that it's a toll gate, and then just there you have potholes, and then you ask yourself, I think that this road, this from the routier is supposed to also to go for the building and the construction of the road, and that when we will see road become nasty and it actually dirties the town and makes the town really unlivable. And we ask yourself, what is the priority of the council? Because they have a budget. Yep. Apart from the public investment budget, they still have a budget, a council budget. They vote every day. Some vote 3 billion, some vote this and that. And if I start calling the budget that council votes each year, individual council, Bamenda, Douala, Yaoundé, for the route, for the interurban route, it is a colossal sum. I have it here. It's a colossal sum. Then you ask yourself, at the end of the year, when the councillors, they come and they sit and they want to take screen or audit, what do they audit? Do they audit those who are in charge, who actually voted the budget? Do they ask questions on how the budget was spent? Or is it a kind of way of sharing the money to themselves?
Okay.
This is where the problem comes.
Let us take a listen to Bo Elvis also present the situation of roads in Yaoundé.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Yaoundé. We are precisely here at Mombo Deuxième, which is one of the quarters in Yaoundé, as we came to take a look at the poor state of our roads in the capital city. As you can see in the background, we have lots of potholes and our roads are not arranged, a situation that has made it very difficult for taxi drivers to be able to make ends meet because they complain that most of the time they have to spend their little profit by handing over the resources to the mechanic, because a week cannot pass by without their car having issues.
Vraiment, bonjour. C'est vraiment grave. On en souffre vraiment. L'état de la route est tellement critique. Chaque fois on se plaint, mais pas de changement. Nous voilà dans nos voitures. On nous demande de ne même pas rouler en châssis. On paye des voitures neuves. On dit qu'on ne doit pas rouler en châssis. Alors que les routes ne sont même pas conformes. Regardez vous-même l'état de la route. Ça fait un certain bout de temps, rien, et ça ne fait que aller de mal en pire. Vraiment, on ne sait pas quoi faire.
Au niveau de l'impact de nos voitures, on ne se passe une semaine sans aller au garage au moins 2 fois. Parce que tel que vous le voyez sur la route dans laquelle nous nous retrouvons actuellement, on ne parvient pas, les rotules se gâtent, les amortisseurs se gâtent, les cadences se gâtent, vu le mauvais état de la route. On dirait même que nous sommes dans une campagne. On n'imagine même pas qu'on peut être dans la cité capitale avec cet état de route. Et on ne sait pas quand est-ce que cette situation pourrait être rétablie, parce que ça fait déjà plus d'1 an que nous sommes dans cette situation.
It's really been a difficult situation here in the capital city, Yaoundé. No matter the quarter where you find yourself, the only place which seems completely spared is the central town, which is known in French as Poste Central. But as you move to other quarters, you move from Mendong to Melen to Biamasi, and then right here at the Mombo Deuxième, you're going to discover that we have lots of potholes. And many people have been asking questions, what are our officials doing? What are mayors doing to handle the situation? But at the same time, most fingers have been pointing at government officials, especially the Minister of Public Works, Nganu Jumesi, the Minister of Town Planning and Urban Development, Celestin Kecha Kutes. Fingers too have also been pointing at the Minister of Decentralization, Joyce Obam. And that is a situation that many people are quite concerned about.
C'est très désolant. Si on pouvait au moins traiter les points critiques, au lieu d'attendre à moins de 2 mois ou 3 mois de 2025 pour venir avec les caterpillars et faire semblant de faire quelque chose, vraiment, qu'on essaie de faire quelque chose. Parce que maintenant, quand tu quittes de la poste pour terminer ce moment, disons pour Emombo deuxième, on est obligé de descendre au terminus Mimboman avant de reprendre la moto pour arriver à Emombo deuxième, alors que nous sommes à moins de 3 km de la poste centrale. Vraiment, c'est très désolant. Je crois que vraiment, ou si ça a dépassé le temps, que le chef de quartier nous voit, nous qui sommes les habitants d'Emombo deuxième tour, nous pouvons au moins se traiter les points critiques. C'est-à-dire ouvrir peut-être la buse là où il y a le lac derrière moi là, ouvrir au moins la buse pour que l'eau puisse traverser et faire un petit rechargement. Ça dépend peut-être 5 camions de latérite. On essaie de rehausser la chaussée et créer des exutoires pour que l'eau passe. Parce que quand il pleut, les gens de Mombo ne peuvent plus arriver à la poste en passant par la route normale.
Following lots of press reports about the situation, the Prime Minister and Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, recently held a cabinet meeting with his ministers to discuss about the situation, to see what can be done. According to the Prime Minister and Head of Government, Joseph John Gute, he called on the ministers to look for long-term solutions to put in place so as to be able to help the situation of bad roads and poor waste disposal across the capital city of Yaoundé. But when we go through all what was raised by the various ministers during the meeting, they all gave the impression that resources were not available, or probably it was not planned. It was not quite planned. I'm talking about the repair works. And the question many people have been asking, is it just enough to do some sort of an emergency repair works and, of course, face the situation after some time? Or it is important for the government to vote a huge budget to ensure that all roads in the capital city are repaired? That is the question many people have been asking, because when you listen or you read or listen to the statements that were made by the various ministers during the cabinet meeting chaired by the Prime Minister and Head of Government, all of them gave the impression that there were limited resources. They talk about lack of finances for them to involve in the works. That is lack of funds to handle such emergency repair works in the capital city. Some talked about the aging nature of existing roads, which deteriorate further during the rainy season, and of so on and so forth. We want to look for a sustainable approach with compact concrete. I am sure that next year we will support local authorities to go through a low-cost approach to make sure that our all roads have a solution. That is according to Celestine Kecha Kutes, who is the Minister of of Town Planning and Urban Development. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is really a worrying situation because most of the time the citizen keeps asking so many questions. Why is it that every year taxes are being paid to government officials? What are they doing with the money if our roads cannot be repaired? At one point in time, can government officials be held accountable for being unable to deliver when it comes to basic things like road infrastructure? We also talked about poor waste disposal in the capital city, with government officials complaining that there is only one company in charge of disposing waste across the capital city. Many are asking what it takes to be able to bring other waste disposal companies to be able to handle the situation here in Yaoundé. The issue has been raised on several occasions, not only by the press, but even by the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement officials, as they are all concerned. That is a situation that deserves lots of answers and emergency action from the government of the Republic, not only for a kind of low-cost repair works, but for a long-term vision repair work here in the capital city, Yaoundé. Right here at the Mombo Deuxième, Bo Elvis, Serge Biwole.
Thank you very much, Bo Elvis, for that great job done out there in the nation's capital. I don't know, it's you, you're the one? Yes, coming in. Now, when we, let's say, we want to make Cameroon a touristic destination, and we are served with these conditions of roads in Douala and Yaoundé, what could be going through the minds of those charged with the responsibilities of taking care of these roads?
Mr. Liu, you see, sometimes they say the actions of people speak louder than words, and the furthest journey into somebody's mind, the furthest journey is that one into somebody's mind. But the actions of those who are in charge, and I listened keenly to your reporter who was very succinct in his expose, trying to talk about those who, the ministries that are responsible for that. And this ministry have people at their head. So that tells you exactly what is going through the minds of those people. They don't care. That is what it is. There is a laissez-faire that starts from A to D and then trickles down. There is a Chinese saying that says the fish starts getting rotten from the head. So, yes, I was appointed by Mr. Biya to serve Mr. Biya, but if you have any problem, I can only give account to Mr. Biya, and what will you do? That is what is in their mind. Because these people use these roads, but they don't use it to earn a living like you and myself. They don't use it to earn a living like a traveling agency. They don't use it to earn a living like a buy-am, sell-am on a daily basis. So they don't care. The risk of them losing their life on those bad roads, potholes within urban agglomerations, it's not their business. They're not concerned. You rarely see them get up in the morning and say they want to accompany their children to school. No, they have a driver. You rarely see the minister of whatsoever get up in the morning and say he wants to go to the market. That is an illusion. It doesn't work that way. That they don't care. So what they do is that their consciences is that even fekwa, what are they going to do? Yeah. And we sit here complaining every day, talking every day. I am very happy that somebody that I hear that they had a cabinet meeting and Jongute wanted to take the thing in his hand and do certain things. You will see that in every dark situation there is a light at the end of a tunnel, and there are some good grains that can contaminate the bad grains. So that is a beacon of hope that something will be done at a certain level, but to count on this hyper-Jacobinist centralized system to solve that issue is a far-fetched, because this is proof that decentralization has failed 3 years after its enlightenment, or 4 years after its enlightenment. And that is something that has been existing in the corridor for almost 20 how many years. So we must make sure that it's not just patching the roads or repairing the roads. It doesn't work. It cannot work. And we cannot amend the system. We put new wine in old glass which are rusty, or vessels which are rusty. No. We have to be able to change the mentality of the people who are in charge and who are in the system. It's time for us to transit from this hyper-Jacobinist centralized system to a federal system. You will not need to talk about the minister. They will be talking about the urban roads in a federal parliament. They will be talking about that thing in Bamenda, in Boya, in the south, and so on. You will not have anything to do with the minister. The ministries, they will be figurative, because in the centralized system, in that federal configuration, they will have just about 3 or 4 competence: defense, in monetary policy, international relation, and I think the currency. That is their zone of what has to do with roads. And when you're in a federal system, how does it function? Bamenda, Bafusam, they will have to sit in their federal government and try to come out with a way that they will vote a budget to construct that road and to make sure that that road is viable. Okay, that's a road that links two chief towns. Yaoundé and Boya and Garwa will do the same. Southwest and Douala will do the same. That's how it functions. So the system has failed, and these people, je m'en fous, ils vont faire quoi? That is what their mindset.
Yes, we've seen the pictures of the road situations in Douala here, and Yaoundé, the nation's capital. Who actually endorses, who takes the blame for this? Is it the municipal councillors themselves who are expectedly representing the respective councils that are not also holding the city mayor or their mayors to render account, or the population that is also helpless, not exerting pressure on their mayors? Because if you took up this position and you discover that your hands are tied, what stops you from resigning?
That's a very good question, Mr. Leo. The failure, the blame should be shared, right from the population, the municipal councillors, the mayors, and the city mayors. You see, one of the problems I have been thinking of late has been the docile nature of Cameroonians, citizens who do not know how to rise up to the occasion to seize their rights. Because somebody cannot be voted in your name and the person is misrepresenting you, yet you are very quiet about it. A few of us who take the risks to come to television and talk, they start talking us names. So the mayors are doing what they're doing because the municipal councillors have not been holding the mayors to account. The mayors, the city mayors are doing it because I have never heard of a situation where a mayor has come out and say, this is a project I presented to my city mayor for the betterment of this part of the city, and the city mayor refused. And I'm coming out vocally to cry to the population and to the senior authorities
that you sent me
to do this work, to carry out this function, and this man who is my immediate superior has been blocking me. We have not heard it. So that is where we have the right to blame the chain, starting from the population right up to the city mayors. And all of this turns around one thing. You know, the syndrome of only my lips in Cameroon has killed many consciences and has sealed many lips. These people are using these routes and crying. That's why I really want to appreciate those who took the courage to accept my Media Prime microphone and cry out to the world about their plight as far as routes are concerned. A while ago you asked about Kwaboy. In other countries, people call Cameroon a touristic site. I think they are not wrong. Bad routes are also a touristic site. People can also visit Cameroon to see for themselves. How can they be talking about such a country with terrible roads? Terrible roads are also, a sightseeing.
Subject of attraction.
Subject of attraction. Yeah. People can also come there to cry, lament, shout, to see how people suffer and survive in Cameroon.
Standing water is swimming pool.
Yes.
Have you not seen people?
People who grow up seeing only clean water in a swimming pool can visit Cameroon, see dirty water in a swimming pool, not in its location, but by the roadside. That's also a touristic site. Some people say wherever a road passes, development follows. But I don't understand the scenario in Cameroon. Some months ago, I watched the president's delegation in St. Petersburg. Shockingly, they were taking selfies on a very clean street, clean route, good route. And I'm asking myself, when they are there, how do they feel? Is there no iota of shame that I live in a country where there are practically no route? I go out of that country, I take selfies, and I publish them. So, our city mayors, and I'll be ending by saying this, Mr. Leo. If truly Cameroon needs a change, it must start from the common man, not from the administrator. Because if the common man remains quiet, if they cannot rise, if they cannot shout, if they cannot cry to the top of their voices, it gives that feeling to the administrators that, like Abakoboy was saying, ils vont nous faire quoi? Because for a long time, they have been sitting on our neck, we have not been struggling to stand up, and they continue bending our neck, yet we remain quiet. We can't breathe. We cannot breathe. The kind of administrators we have in Cameroon are on our necks, yet they mark us for. You need to look at the council we are talking there. The highest part where the council has marked its name as far as efficiency is concerned is through the council police collecting bags by the roadside. Even on Saturday,
racketeering,
yes,
collecting, they have been racketeering.
And the worst of it, Mr. Leo, is that when it comes to this domain, the council is very much upright and awake. They collect bags right to Saturday, protected by the gendarmes. Immediately 5,000 francs comes out, 10,000 francs comes out, they release your bag. We needed to have seen, and they look for where those potholes are there, so that these guys cannot escape. So immediately the potholes hold you down. You just quietly enter into their hands. They collect, and then they tell you that no merci to put their arm in party. I said, Cameroon, we are living as if we have all become tenants and our landlord.
Okay,
somewhere.
No, can we not also blame this on the contractors who are not delivering? Because most of these roads, yes, most of these roads have been earmarked as having been delivered. Let's assume that maybe the supervisory ministry may be corrupt, but you, the contractor, is mostly from this region or this community or from this city. Why would you not deliver?
Let me come to the issue of contractors. Yaoundé, take your pens and papers and hear lectures as you pretend as if you don't know what is happening. The contractors, first, there are two problems that before the contractors. One major problem is whether you are a political acolyte to the person who is giving you that contract. They should hear me very well. Most of them have taken briefcases and they are entering parties and running up and down, buying party fabrics and running from one area to another, like people being chased by evil spirits. Another category of the contractors are those that are simply vulnerable. I've talked with most of them in Boya and in Bamenda, where I'm just returned from Bamenda, and they tell you the hurdles they go through. That you have a contract to execute, what, 500 million. 30% of that particular amount is demanded from you if you have to finally pick up that contract. 30% of 500 means 30,000 francs times 5. Which tells you that 150,000 francs is already coming out. I mean, 150 million, sorry, is coming out already. Now, look at 150 million coming out of 500 million. Now, you will imagine that this is money that would have been used to get the gutter in order. This is the money that would have been used to get quality material. So what happens with the contractors? I know they applied. Their hands are tied. But don't go in for those contracts. Start selling Ghana in the market. Don't go in for the contract. Later on, you do a rough job. Because the mayors or the vote holders of those projects are putting you to task. Only way to come out and start complaining. The few of them who have refused to dance to that mafia have had it difficult in recovering their monies from the treasury. I know what I'm talking about. When you come, a municipal treasurer or a sub-treasurer tells you there's no money when there's money. Because to him, if you are not willing to comply, then I'll tell you there's no money. After all, you cannot get into his coffers to know whether there's physical cash or not. There's no way you can get into it. So you are the whims and caprices of the paymasters general, you are the whims and caprices of the divisional treasurer, the sub-divisional treasurers, and the municipal treasurers, who are the one who call the shots as to whether they will tell you that there's money or not. When you go to Bamenda Regional Treasury, Taxation Office, you understand that when money is coming in, there are the officials there who call you to tell that money has come. How much do you have? Because when the money comes in and is limited, they ration the money. So now, the few of you who have to dance to the tune, they call you if you can dance to the tune. You come and surrender the amount you're surrendering, and they pay you first. Those who cannot comply, they both get shot along the line, and they tell them, wait for the next time when another money will come into the treasury. This is the clean and clear day mafia. So contractors who go in order to maximize profit or to meet up, they are forced to use less than the specification. Why? Because their job will be backed up by the corrupt control missions. I repeat, corrupt control missions. So that when the control missions come, now they have taken their own, even though the quality of their material is less, far than the specification as per the job specification in that contract, they'll be forced to validate, no, c'est bon, say okay. If not, why will you fill potholes with local materials, sand, gravel, when you know that conventional wise in the civil engineering corps, it does not go, and yet it's validated. Let me tell you, we need to build, we go outskirts of Yaoundé, around Emana. We go outskirts of Yaoundé. We have to construct a stadium 10,000 capacity. Join all the corrupt officials, mayors, administrators, all of them in there. Plus the police people on the road. In fact, you build it like a stadium. 10,000 capacity. Just fill them there. That's a new Kondenge. Because if you don't do that, we are wasting our time. So I spoke with the contractor the other day in Bamenda, who has the subcontract to get part of the roads in Bamenda. I don't want to call the name. And when he explained to me the hurdles he goes through, even to repair his machines, that is the vehicles working on it, the header they give him, he has no reason than to succumb because he needs to go through. But I told him, sir, auction these road construction equipments, start selling granite, open a supermarket, I will come and buy from it there. So you have your dignity. Than to stoop low, let these boys put you in a corrupt dictionary and you think they have an excuse. In China, they should hear very well, they should go investigate. When you are found guilty of corruption, they assume that money you embezzled on the road that could cause road accident can claim lives that would have not have been lost if none of your activity. There is death penalty for corruption in China. They know what I'm talking about. I mean, death penalty. North and South Korea have death penalty for embezzling state funds. Why will a gendarme on the road take bribe openly? Why will a toll gate be in Banga at the same time when the roads are bad? Instead of Neil John Fru in the blessed memory, the toll gate in Bamenda would have been functioning. I remember the day Neil John Fru marched there himself and drove those who were collecting money at the toll gate in Bamenda at Matasm when the road was still at a deplorable condition and asked them, what are you doing here? You are collecting, what are you doing with the money? Listen, these people in Yaoundé, you should be very serious. You cannot collect money on toll gates. Each day they collect millions on the different toll gates, and you cannot repair even the road at the same toll gate where you are collecting. This is witchcraft in borderline. In fact, satanism of the highest order. That's why I say that if we are looking at how it has to be, contractors have tried their best. But as I said, their best is not good enough because you should not give an excuse for being involved in a corruption matter. No. There are other options. That's why I said that do your dirty job as you have done it. You collect and you are benefiting 5 million. Open a supermarket somewhere and sit there quietly. Auction the machines. Don't tell us that they are forcing you, because if all contractors abandon their job, those who want to force them into corruption, okay, will not see any good road or any road to be repaired.
Let me take some messages. Good evening, gentlemen. The program is very educative and informative as usual. The irony of it all is that most of these government officials still drive past through these dilapidated roads to the job sites and elsewhere daily. I visited Yaoundé some 2 weeks ago and I thanked God for Bamenda because I was in the middle of the roads. Bamenda once had such wells from Gang to City Chemist and from T-Junction to Hospital roundabout more than a year ago. But thank God that the mayors and some regional officials who probably got sick after the shaky drives daily have intervened. On this note, I encourage the mayors especially to at least include in their annual budget regular road maintenance and proper follow-up that they executed. The longer the wait, the more expensive it will become to maintain. Jude Fominio is writing from Bamenda. Greetings, Mr. Liu, Mr. Pady, and the entire panel. Mr. Liu, let the government step up and take its responsibility. The level of accountability in the country is in every sector. Is not the best. It's almost zero. Embezzlement is like a plus because embezzlers are most of the time being promoted instead. But Mr. Liu, from the time that this Anglophone crisis started, the degrading nature of issues, especially infrastructures, has been at a very wild speed, mostly because the high financial contribution from the Southwest region has been slashed. Ekondo Titi, Manfred, Timber, Pamol, CDC, and the likes are no longer generate funds to support as usual, and the Yaoundé can't fill the gap. Peace will be okay. Tiku Felix is writing from Boya. Greetings, Mr. Liu. When we talk of road in this our country, there is definitely nothing. Come to Loom, where I stay, and see for yourself. But within a month, The gendarmes and police are everywhere harassing bikes and collecting 5,000 or 50,000 francs each. Those who can pay their bikes confiscated. Mango is writing from Loom. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Njikam Salifu writing from Boya. I love your program. The roads in Boya municipality is unbearable. I'm begging on the authorities to do something because it is causing a lot of problems in our cars. For example, a tire now is 14,000 francs, an increase of 5,000 francs, and every week one must buy 2 or 3 tires. Good evening to you all. This is Titus from Bengui, enjoying your program on how we are living in bad governance. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The various councils lack skilled workers and basic tools for city road maintenance. Let government should organize short-term courses for city road maintenance in South Africa. The know-how is not. That's our fundamental problem. Okay, the doctor, we have living very difficult times. The contractors themselves, but if the city mayors cannot deliver, if the mayors cannot deliver, if the contractors cannot deliver, are they forced to do it? Should they not resign? Should they not give up to other persons who can?
Unfortunately, we are now living in a situation in Cameroon where you don't take a post of responsibility to deliver. You don't take a post of responsibility to answer to the population, to answer to the citizens. You answer to your stomach. This is what we are living in Cameroon. So how do you tell somebody to resign when he knows his motive, why he came up where he is? So because you realize that service in Cameroon is not for free. People come out not to serve, but to be served. And that is what is happening. So you find a mayor who comes up is calculating that after 5 years, he knows they will abate his house. We've heard of mayors who are only pinning houses here and there. Of course, because they know that at the end of their term of office, they should have boosted of something that they have done for themselves and their families. So this is the problem that we are having. Is it the politics of the stomach or the politics to serve the people? And that is where it is, the issue is. Now, coming back to the issue of the citizens too, because we too, we have our own responsibility to push these people to do what they are supposed to do. I mean, in the early days, like with Ngrafi, we used to have what we call the self-help, self-reliance in development. Where if I'm in some villages in the Northwest, I see this mostly in the Northwest, we will have village development association. You even find some of these villages take care of the roads. They take care of some issues surrounding things that are supposed to be taken care of by the mayor. Yes. So you realize that some of these mayors, they just sit back and knowing that these things are to be taken care of by them, but the population is doing that, and they don't explain to the population the money, the allocation they have. And the issue about all of this is when you go to these councils, what you see that exotic is the big council halls, the beautiful council halls. And then you're asking yourself, but all these council halls without delivering. The mayors are just there in their air conditions rooms and the offices, and they don't deliver. And they don't see anything wrong with that. The mayors themselves, they pass in the very roads that people are passing. It's not to say that maybe they are living in different quarters. They see what is happening. They pass in the same road that other people are passing, and they see it. And nobody is doing anything. And there is no conscience. Because what we are talking about is sometimes people need to have consciences. They need to be conscious, There's what we call conscientiousness in duty, whereby you need to know, you are carrying the text, what was I voted to do? Was I voted just to come and sit in the office, sign birth certificates, and organize marriages, and where people come and give you good wines, Italian wines? Or was I voted to be a person of the field? Because mayors are supposed to be people of the field. You're supposed to come out and see how the people are living. But come to cities like Yaoundé and Douala, you find how people are releasing toilet waste all over the places. Drainage poor. And you find that all of these things, we have had a lot of floods in Douala, in some parts of Douala, and all of it. Because the mayors, they don't only care less, but they are careless about what is happening in the environment. And saying that in good countries, like Britain and Europe, and you see that somebody who is not able to deliver. When you have what we call the foot law, where you have mistakenly not taken up your duty and something happens, you resign. You say, I'm sorry. And that resigning is a way of saying that I'm sorry that this error was caused by me. I would have prevented it, but I didn't. But rather, you find that in Cameroon, when there is a mistake of such a nature in somebody's responsibility, is rather promoted. This is what is happening in Cameroon. People benefit when they have a mistake. And this brings to mind what is happening. That it is how much you give to your immediate boss, is how much you give out to buy where you are, is not what the service that you render. I remember I don't want to call the party, whereby it is the head of the party that comes and institute that this person is supposed to be the mayor of a particular locality. I lived that sometime back in my village, where the head of the party came and imposed that this is the person. They had the person who was competent, who was supported by the people, but the head of the party had to come and say, this is the person who has to be. In situations like that, would there be accountability? There will never be no accountability. There are even cases whereby in some parties, CPDM not excluded, whereby you as a mayor, you are supposed to give a quota of some amount of money to the party hierarchy. This is not, they are not begging you. This is something you have to do. If you don't do it, it means that you are not collaborating in the circle as they are supposed to do. In the next election, they just know that you have to be in the cold. So this is what is happening, and therefore nobody would ever resign, because you are not there to serve the people. You are there to serve yourself and to serve the people in that circle. So it is a terrible thing, and that is why you find that mayors come, they don't take priorities that are community driven. They say there's no electricity in a community, there's no road, but you find that mayors are concentrated on income generating issues in the market. They are interested in taking 100 francs in the market. They are interested in building shops around the place so that they give on rent. So you find that they are looking at those small way revenue they can suck from the population. They care less. Like Amma will say in the beautiful ones are not yet born, chop a chop country, spoil.
Pady Asanga, where is the spirit of accountability in all of this? These city mayors in Douala, because we are talking about Douala and Yaoundé today, they certainly were voted on presented manifestos. When blatantly they cannot deliver or are unable to deliver on a promise, how do they tell the people why they cannot deliver? Where do we see them rendering account for what is available to them as resources?
Mr. Leo, one thing we Cameroonians have to understand is that mayors they are not voted, they are not independent candidates. They belong to political parties. Yes. And they have a certain doctrine that comes from the party leadership. And starting to talk about accountability of mayors, you have to go and find out how these mayors were invested in the first place. And I'm just speaking on what Dr. Ndimancho said. Contrary to those of us who are social democrats, the few councils and municipalities that we have control in this country, you saw the chairman going to make sure that things are being done. I want to quote you the market in Boya, the Tico market, the Kumbu Council and the rest. So it has to do with the doctrine, what they see from the leadership. You see my son with me every day coming on TV. Tomorrow, what do you expect my son to do? He also wants to go to TV like his father. When you see you have a president of your party who is the natural candidate and he's absent everywhere, he gives accounts to nobody apart from telling you people that he has to go to France to give account to Macron on what happened on the national dialogue, and he doesn't give account to Cameroonians. They owe you nothing. They owe allegiance to those people who invested them there. And that's what Dr. Ndimancho was talking about. So it will be very difficult to ask account from somebody who is badly invested, somebody who found himself in a situation because he owes allegiance to somebody else. That's it. But if we want to talk about accountability and in all due fairness, then we'll have to talk about primaries, who is more competent, who is near to the people, and then this issue of investing people, what he was criticizing, disappears, and there will be accountability. But in the current context of this country,
but let's go by your argument that they are accountable to the party. How happy can a party be of the performances of persons like this? Because it rather paints a very negative image of the parties, and I'm sure party militants are using these roads. They themselves are not happy.
No, but that's why you have several wings in the different political parties that exist, and we think that we don't owe allegiance to the party once we are in the office, but we think that we owe allegiance to the people. Thus, the slogan that we have. It is not because the party invested me that I would neglect those people who gave that party the mandate, because you want to understand that the party mandate is an indirect mandate that you get from the people who are militants of the party who sent you somewhere. So from that premise, you understand that it is very difficult in the current context, and with the without the proximity to the people of administration, an administration that still depends on the central government, that is still controlled by people who are appointed. It cannot be accountable. You cannot have a governor that supersedes a mayor, and you accept, you think that that mayor will be accountable to who? Because the governor, at the end of the day, when you have your regional council who transmit your doleances to the centralized government, it is the governor who sits there, and he is the secular arm and a very powerful arm of the administration. So you don't expect them to be accountable to you and me.
Okay.
Thus, the liturgy and the laissez-faire that we find in the system, you would not. It is pandemic. It is some kind of a sickness that is blowing all over Cameroon. Thus, the necessity to transit from this hyper Jacobin system to a federal system. That's the solution for this country with an Anglophone president. I'll keep hammering that from half moon to full moon. Thank you, Mr. Liu.
Ndiwum, how do we get this road fixed? We need the government officials to be tougher, to also the population to ask the city mayors and the mayors to do their job.
You know, in Cameroon, contracts are not awarded. Contracts are sold. It goes to the highest bidder and the relationship that you have. But if we were to go by competence, I want to think that there are still very good Cameroonians who are very competent enough and their consciences are still alive. But how do we get there is the biggest question. Because in this domain, let's take the responsibility a bit. Can our people be able to oust the present regime? I mean from top right down to the least person, and have a change. Because I can tell you in all honesty.
When you say oust how?
No,
by registering and voting?
Yes, that's what I mean. Election is coming up. Even though I know that you can, I am still very skeptical whether there's an election that can take Mr. Biya from power and his regime. But hope is not lost.
Mr. Ndiwum, I want to tell something here. You see, I am very sick when you people say there cannot be an election that will take Mr. Biya to power.
Please.
Cameroon is not new. Our history tells us that Frundi was voted in 1992, and we cannot get into this thinking strategy of resignation and then we expect change.
Who voted Mr. Biya to power? Who voted him?
No, please.
Don't cut me, please.
I'm not cutting you.
No. Please. Let us
saying that Cameroonians must take their responsibilities, Mr. Leo. If it is about voting, let them vote and be convinced that they did their voting and it was stolen. That one will be a different story. And again, the culture of holding our leaders accountable must be revived or reawakened in our people.
Do you even when we sit in bars, almost everybody is complaining. Everybody is complaining about the situation of the roads.
Yes.
But when these municipal councillors come around and the mayors come around,
they are
how do people react?
That is the saddest part of it. Because I don't know whether they come with a chemical that hypnotizes these people or how. I don't understand. Because all what you and I are struggling to say here,
they come with 3 fishes and a chicken or bread and sardine.
Invite some of these people, Mr. Leo, to come on this platform. They will tell you that no, I was sick one day, the mayor assisted me. Because those are the little chains they put on their legs, not to walk. And what baffles me the most is that these government officials are using the same route that you are using. I am using. The only difference is that when they are about to use the routes, they deprive you and I from using those routes. When their convoys are passing, the town will be completely shut down for about 2 hours until they have to leave Bonanjo, circulate Douala, likewise in Yaoundé. But the population who are at the losing end are quiet. They complain while silent. So at one point in time, like I will still repeat, the problems of Cameroon are more of spiritual. Because if there were no more of spiritual problem, how do you see people are falling in mud every day, yet they are afraid to walk up to the councils, walk up to the mayors and tell them there is no moving in this municipality.
Okay.
If some of these mayors at one point in time are faced by the population, they will sit up.
Fah Elvis Tayong, do we actually know that a mayor is one of the municipal councillors and that municipal councillors voted him to power, and that where they are living there is a municipal councillor that is expected to represent their interest at the level of the municipal council? How do they hold these guys to check the job of the mayors and by extension the work of the city mayors?
It is difficult to check on their works in terms of accountability, because the manner in which the councillors are chosen is 75% fraudulent.
Yes, let's assume that it is fraudulent. But this council, let's take the guys of Koto.
Yep.
They have somebody representing them at the.
It's the same, Mr. Liu.
Yes, let's assume that he was fraudulently sent there. What stops the people of Koto to hold this guy accountable? What are you actually doing there?
This is the truth, Mr. Leo. I've spoken to some of the councillors in Buia. And you know, sometimes it's difficult to hold them to task, because when you hold them, he himself directs the complaint all to the mayor. And tells you, I have done my best. It was the mayor who has the upper hand to select. Because truly, Mr. Leo, this is where the laws governing mayors has a problem. Municipal councillors can put forth their problems, but the mayor has the latitude to decide where to stand or where to give priority. It is terrible. That is why you hear that the mayor is a municipal councillor. You just say a municipal councillor, but once he becomes mayor, no, it's day and night. The distance between the mayor and the municipal councillors is day and night. Talk less of the distance between the mayor and the first deputy. Because the powers the mayor has, the deputy has just 1/10 of that power. So at the end of it, because of the kangaroo modus operandis put in the council, it makes the mayors to be what they really call Lord Mayor. I mean Lord. As he talk, he don't talk. Case closed. That's why to be with him, to get the crumbs, you just have to be loyal. Pame don't talk say as they're running up and down. I said clean and clear, English speaking area, the day a mayor goes on Monday to close shops, just let me know, because I've told them that that's not their job. Their job is to provide roads and social amenities to the people. I cannot be paying taxes for my shop. You decided to go on Monday, which is not at the level of the mayor to solve.
But why do
it's a national issue.
Why should they go and close shops on Monday?
No, this is what happens.
No, they're rather asking that people should open.
No, this is what happens. You know, with the closure of the shop, the politics is clear. When councils realize that their budget is down, they hear me. I'm not hiding it. Man, I don't hide when I lie. When I know what I do. When they realize that their budget is low, and they need budget to carry on some things within that period, they carry on because they know that Monday is a difficult time for people to open the restive area. So they go around, seal the shops. On Tuesday, people can pay 25,000. They have receipt. I've given the receipt. I have the receipts. They come and give them the receipt.
All the shops, or what are you
No, they select. Today they will select these ones and close. They don't select all because it looks like they too are scared of the unknown. The select some shops and closed. Now when they come and pay,
it is because of the unknown.
when they come and pay the 50,000 francs, the next week they relax a bit. After 2 weeks, they come and steal other shops again in other neighborhoods. So when they do this, that's how they recover monies that they need to carry out their project. But I say it's wicked because you know the people are suffering. You take advantage of their precarious condition to extort, because that is extortion of money. That's why I say any mayor who seals short because the Anglophone crisis is not a mayor to solve. It's our governors, it's our administrators, it's our President Paul Biya, and I'm saying that the ones who have the power to take that. You, a mayor, municipal council, a municipal official who is supposed to sympathize with the people and call on the governors and the powers that be to please solve the problem. So this people should open on Monday that they are missing money. You go to close the shop. You are extorting. That is coming of the first order on a Monday. I keep telling them that. I want you to hear. When I hear, I will move to and confront you the mayor, because if you are my mayor in the area where I am, I have the right to confront you broad daylight, not in the night. That, Mr. Mayor, that shop you sealed is, we call that scamming, because only they must pay. So these are the ones we find ourselves. But I think the way out on all these issues of roads and all that is that, one, if mayors who mean business, I'm not talking about hand-picked mayors, I mean mayors that merit where they are, decide to offer the services, if the population will know that they have the willingness, but the means is not there. I've seen people sympathize with the mayors. I've had mayors, I want to call names here, that people sympathize. I don't want to be overcalled the mayor of Limbe when I say probably I have a particular issue, but I've seen mayors that people sympathize with them because you see that their budget is limited, and they try to go on the field to assist you do things. Why are the other mayors sleeping and building skyscrapers and riding big cars and blowing grammar? The time for grammar is all because within 2 years from now, population, if you sleep and these people, these grammarians of disorder come and deceive you again, don't call me to complain, because I have told you that be ready to vote them. I they bring 10 bags of right, collect the bags of right, eat well, Maggie collect, Gino oil collect. But when it comes to the voting, just tell them that, oh yeah, your own don't correct, go house, because okay, this is a sacrilege.
Now, Dr. Michael Ndimancho, where do we place the long term of our municipalities in the agenda of our respective municipal authorities? Do we have the feeling that they take up office and all that matters to them is what they can do within their 5 years, because they are not too sure of coming back? Let me do as much as I can, because if they were to be projecting, I'm sure they're supposed to start planning for opening up of roads and like. Do you really see mayors looking beyond their term of office?
There is no continuity in the councils. Let me give you an example. There is a mayor in a certain council who was voted out, and he even resisted to give the card to the new mayor. This is to tell you that there is no continuity as it's supposed to be in administration, because mayors are supposed to cap projects that are for that supersede the mandate. Yes. But if I may also come, they are just they fight for their stomach, and their project is just around the mandate, the 5-year mandate they have. They go there and pin a small thing they call a shop. They do this is what they are doing. So there's no sustainability in what they are doing. There's supposed to be continuity in administration, but there is none as far as this is concerned, because they spend more time fighting themselves, fighting in issue of politics. Who is going to take over me? I'm going to consolidate power and live as much as possible as I can live, rather than consolidating the work that you are supposed to do.
It's simple.
It's very, very simple.
When you do it,
when you work well, you will be
elected.
That is the thing.
That's it.
So it is a problem that mayors are myopic. What we call the party discipline. And you know, one of the issues of party discipline is also about what you have to pay into your party as a mayor, into the funds of the party. That maybe it reduces what you have to do to carry out your infrastructure or your development and all of those things.
Ndimancho, you are talking because you are not a militant of a political
No, really. I'm saying this.
Political parties don't run that way. And being a mayor is not even a job. Before becoming a mayor, you have something doing. And becoming a mayor,
let me just land because we have 5 more.
I know that you are defending a point. Yes, I understand. But I want you to say that I will not even call a name of what the example I first gave. In as much as I cherish and know the SDF very much, the example I wanted to quote here happened in the SDF, where the chairman of the party will come and impose a mayor in a council. A person that the community didn't want. I personally didn't want, but of course I'm just a political.
You said you are saying that you did not want something. The inner party dynamics. It supersedes what you people think.
No. What dynamics?
And when you sit as an observer,
we are talking about
your sentiments.
No, we are talking about
your sentiments.
No, elected representative.
You're not talking
about leave the inner party stuff and whatsoever. We are talking about elected local representatives, meaning that they are supposed to be the people of the people.
That was not your point.
My point.
You're diverging.
My point.
You said, doctor, with all due respect,
you have become now my interviewer.
Yes, no. With all due respect,
just because let him land.
Let me land. You come there. I understand that you are defending the point. You are defending the part. But I'm saying that sometimes some of these party officials who are elected members of a local community, who are supposed to, first of all, serve the people, and the party issue should come after. Once you take power, you are supposed to serve everybody. It's not more about it's not about the issue of the party any longer. You are supposed to say, if you are an SDF, you say both CPDM and MLC and all of those populations.
We agree on that.
So when you keep on talking about party, it's no issue. You know that there is a budget that sometimes the government gives a budget to all the councils. I mean, it's a sum of maybe just about from 7 million upward, depending on how the council. They don't. That one is not accounted for. They just say, okay, complete what you have not been able to complete. And most councils,
earmarks.
Yes,
council earmarks.
Yes, they take that and invest because that one they don't defend in their budget. So I think Mr. Leo was asking about the issue of sustainability, issue of continuity in administration. And my advice is that when a mayor comes out, because administration is continuity, you should be able to cap a project that when the other mayor comes, he's able to see that this is where I started. But because we are playing the politics that favor us, we want to do things and show people that this is all what we did.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Sometimes we blame the mayors, but looking at reality of our developmental authority stakeholders are somehow to be blamed. Look at the case of Noni today. This is the only subdivision in Bui without electricity for decades. No roads, no water supply, but most of the elites organize funds in all the regions but spend most of the money drinking and stay in expensive hotels. How will this encourage the mayors to work? Dr. Ndimancho, are you okay?
Yeah, of course, he's right.
He says you guys raise money in cities and you enjoy it.
Well, I don't know what you mean by, because when you look at what we were doing known as elite, I talked to you about development, self-reliance development.
Now.
Yes.
You should be serious.
Listen, I'm talking about something.
You should be serious.
Your
needs a stone throw to where there is like
exactly. He actually came.
Collect money and you're drinking.
No, listen. He actually came. What are you talking about? You are listening to what someone else.
I'm listening to what I'm saying.
I'm saying that.
You should be serious.
I'm saying electricity actually came. And
Can
you listen? You are not listening. I'm saying that electricity actually came, but you, the former mayor, he went through the corrupt means, brought a single line into the village, and heavy budget was put on that. You find that I'll talk about self-reliance in development, where we are the ones doing this kind of thing.
It's not the government's policy.
Okay, you see.
No, Pady.
I don't know why.
Pady,
please make a lot of noise on the panel like this to inspire people on the ideas.
Please, Pady.
Doctor,
let's look at how municipal councillors and the mayors themselves need to work to turn the tide. How do we get our roads in Douala and Yaoundé tarred by next year? We need a stronger arm of the government or more allocations, financial allocations for these mayors to deliver?
Mr. Liu, to get municipal or our localities solve their own local problem, we have to be serious in those debates.
Okay.
And identify what is ponderant, what is our immediate solution. Because we in the start of our discussions, I talked about misplaced priorities. And just like we see here in Douala, their priorities are not the roads. After all, people are still plowing the roads. People are complaining, but they are still running cars. They are still going to market. So what would they do? That is the whole thing. But to get that functional, we have to overhaul the system. And because some people will say overhaul the mentality. I don't believe in overhauling the mentality of a person in an old corrupt system. We will be doing the same mistakes but expecting different results. So at the local level, when we identify our projects which are meant to serve the people, be it Yaoundé or Douala, we act those projects. And some of those projects supersede our mandate that we have, or supersede the 5 years or the 4 years that we have. It should be acted as a project that was conceived and signed by the council, but not by Mayor this XYZ, because tomorrow that mayor might not be there for one reason or the other. But these people take these projects as their personal initiative and they want to use it as campaign tools for the next election. There you have a problem, Mr. Liu. I hope I'm getting myself understood.
Yeah. So
if a project that is meant to serve the common interest is taken as a campaign tool, automatically your entourage, which is vying to succeed you the next, because councils are not only run by one party, they are run by several parties, they'll sabotage it. They will do everything to put blockades so that this thing doesn't get through, and you'll be seen as a failure in your next campaign, and they will use that one against you. What did you do with this? What did you do? So we have to overhaul the system, to overhaul the mentality, and by so doing, projects now don't become campaign tools, but become projects that are made for the benefit of the individuals. Listen, Mr. Liu, I live in a city called Hamburg. Do you know that before they build a subway in that local area where I live, they call Bambi, the people are concerted. And there is a lot of feasibilities. Some people protested because of this, and they had to come, the engineers who were involved in those projects, they had to hold town hall meetings to say that no, this project, there is no risk of collapse. There's no risk that this thing will sink. There's no risk that you people are going to be, it's going to be loud in when the trains are running, and enlarge the roads anymore, because we'll be going souterrain. Because when this city was conceived 50 or 20 years or 30 years or 60 years back, this is the demography that we have, and our projection after 50 years, this is what it looks like. So we think that this is what we are supposed to do. Those things don't happen. Those debates don't take place here. They only find themselves in people's drawers. And when we want to come and talk, some people say, when I go talk down achieve for Europe and all that nonsense. But I'm here in Cameroon. I was born here in Cameroon. I'm a bona fide Cameroonian, Anglophone Cameroonian. I'm not just out there in Europe to sit and blow hot air, send people's children to suicide mission, but to participate in the development in this country with the expertise that I have and with what I have seen in other places. Thank you, Mr. Liu.
Ndiwum, how do we hold our mayors and municipal councillors accountable for, especially for the failures in what they are doing? How do we get them know that they have failed?
Yeah, knowing that they have failed, I still believe that they are humans. Okay. And the fact that they are humans, they can still listen to us. We need to have an approach to get to them and be able to tell them the truth. That truth can save us. But if we abandon everything to them, they would have been the winners. So we have to keep appealing to their consciences. They need to know that they are with people. And when a mandate is given to you to serve the people rightly. Like Dr. Ndimancho said a while ago, one of the problems is the fear that the next tenure in office will not be given to them. But I can guarantee you people that you can only maintain yourself in the office if the mandate that was given to you yesterday was used in the favor of the people. The people always come back to give their vote to you. Even though we are in the country or we are in a culture where we know that those who have failed so much are those who have all the power given to them. But things can change.
No, the powers have not been given to them. Don't say that. It has been taken away from the people by rigging of elections. You should have that courage to say that thing.
But a while ago, you told me that we can get to that place through it. Why are you contradicting yourself? I asked you a question a while ago. Was Mr. Biya voted into power? You were shouting, making noise. Now you are contradicting yourself. Listen, I am saying that Cameroonians need to take their responsibilities by telling their officials what is right, whether they like to hear it or not. Because being silent is being an accomplice, is complicity to their failure. I have ended. Okay,
Fah Elvis Tayong, certainly something needs to be done by the population to constantly remind the authorities not to get our roads to be abandoned to the level where they are. I'm sure if this alarm was raised 2 years ago, we would not be where we are today.
Mr. Leo, it is true that something needs to be done. The people need to complain. But I'm asking, if you are a mayor of a municipality, must I come and tell you that the roads, say in Bakuri town, is not good? If you are in Tinto, must I come and tell you that the road after Tinto market has a problem? If you are, take any other area you like. If you are in Toko, should I come and tell you that the main road that leads after council, moving towards the market area there in Tinto is bad, or maybe in Toko council is not. So at the end of it, remind these people does not change anything, because a mayor, as per the saying, what we call local administrator, is supposed to be a foot soldier administrator, which means he is not supposed to be in the office blowing grammar. He is supposed to be from time to time communing with the people, sit in the Shah house, Mbu house, drink with them, and get to know their worries. That is a meaning of a municipal administrator. I don't know why these mayors are sleeping. That's the meaning of it. But to wait that you want only to go and see shops and squeeze money out of people forcefully, it is coming. I hear whether it's which area. They are telling me, I'm getting feedback here that there are areas that shops were sealed. That will be my assignment every Monday, both in the north and southwest. As I just know, I confront you. If you cannot go, there are other procedures we'll use. It's administrative wise. Because you, a mayor, the crisis is not at your level. The crisis is not at your level to solve. No. Forget about that crisis, those crises. The executive arm will handle that. Provide water, drinking potable water. Assist them medically. Assist them with the small roads you can, with the meager means you have. Call them in a town hall meeting. Explain to them your difficulties. Please, your worries are many. You have a budget account from the basic education minimum package. Yes, you cannot give benches to all the schools in your municipality. You cannot give them roofing sheet to all of them. Call them by explaining to them why your hands are tied. That is communication. And not sealing shops and squeezing money out of people every Monday. 50,000 francs in the name of you want to fight ghost town. Are you not home for ghost town, Mr. Mayor? Do you know how the ghost town came about? Are you the executive? And that's why people have been making money illegally against the wish of the poor shop owners who have refused to navigate out of the trouble area to Douala or Yaoundé. They have refused. Because everybody left the area, who will you govern, Mr. Mayor? Who will you be there to come and collect council tax every day? Some of you are look at your sleeping on your brains. The earlier you take a back step, think well. The roads in the municipalities I call for concern. I will tell the truth that despite the budget we have, Mr. Kum, all the roads can be taken care of by the city mayor. I mean, even the council roads. That's why they prioritize. In my first mandate, I'll take care of the road in this quarter. My first year of this mandate, I'll prioritize road in this area. The second year, I go to this area. The third year, I go to this area. 5 years clocking, I might not be able to go through, but I can explain to the people that if you give me another chance, from these 5 areas that I've gone there, I can now extend to this other area. That is the role of a municipal mayor, and not sealing shops and extorting money. And the people have refused to go out of the Togo area.
We are out of time. We started late, so I thought that we should catch up at least by 10 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Ndimancho, for accepting our invitation to be part of tonight's edition.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo. And just to say that the elite should play their own role. Let the elected officials they play their own role. The pockets of the elite should not be swindled to take care of what elite and the elected officials are supposed to do.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Pady Asanga.
Yes, Mr. Kum Leonard, first of all, I want to congratulate you for the work and that you have done to our communities. Without my media prime and your brilliant talent, or your talent and the courage you have to take certain subjects, I think we Anglophones would have completely been silent and to be made to think that the only solution comes from somewhere else. So my media prime has come to stay, and her detractors are yet to see the glorious day of this house. So I'm the one to thank you people.
Thank you to Ndiwum for coming.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Permit me greet a friend who just signaled, Dr. Richard Munam.
Okay.
We have something to do with the Kum Palace. Maybe in the months ahead, we shall tell it to my media prime. He just signaled that he's on to the program. So, good evening, Bobe.
Dr. Richard Munam, we're glad to know that you are watching the program, and thank you, the Kangaroo Man, for coming.
Yes, thank you very much to Seseko Pius Abuno Tambe, who's watching us from Buya, and also to Tumfo Barrister Nico Hale, who is the patron of the Golden Award, who will be in Buya with all the 90 laureates precisely, and a host of others who are coming from far and near for that exercise. Of course, the Geo of Tico is watching us. Greetings to you, because he is watching, and I think the Geo of Tico is watching, Kumba 1 is watching, and the Geo of Yaoundé 4 is also watching. Mayor of Tuba is watching. I should let you know, Mr. Kum. We have some communications on their day themselves watching. The Mayor of Limbe 1 2 also watching. The City Mayor of Bamenda and Kumba, they too are watching as I speak now. Coincidentally, they are part of the laureates for the awards and a host of others. So, Mr. Kum, kudos to the program, and we think that we will continue to blow the trumpet. And the main thing is that roads are a call for concern. Leave the sealing of shops. Go and take care of your roads. If not, you'll be extorting one of the people illegally. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming, and to Desmond and Eli for production, Tabi, Tambe Brian for supervision. Thank you all who took time off to watch this edition of Prime Hour. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.